Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. If you guys get even a little value from this video, I would greatly appreciate if you could just hit the like button and let's get right into it. So in my next video, I probably am going to be talking about JP Morgan, JPM coin, nothing more than an IOU. Everybody says every single coin or project for a real-time gross settlement that comes is somehow an XRP killer. I just keep rolling my eyes until it actually eliminates pre-funding and does everything else that XRP offers in terms of being a neutral bridge asset, reducing counterparty risk, being an IOU, etc. I'm not worried one bit, whether it's utility settlement coin, like with Finality, the RTGS Global. We could talk about Bancor. It could talk about Facebook's Libra. Again, until it fills out every single criteria, it is not a threat to XRP. So big things happening in the market across the globe. I also want to talk about this Finextra article, really interesting here, talking about crypto, obviously with the ISO standards and very telling of what's to come. But what happened yesterday? Well, we had the Dow Jones literally plunge almost 1,000 points, which is really one of the biggest drops that we've had this year. We have across the globe, even in Europe, we have instant payments. We have in Australia, the NPP, the new payments platform. And in the US, we have also with the clearinghouse, the real-time payments initiative. All of the globe right now, guys, is focusing on RTP, real-time payments, more than ever. The demand is growing. That is a big sign, and obviously, you know, the trends are your friends. And I know a payments behemoth company, a unicorn, really a decacorn valued at $10 billion, that is quite equipped with DLT to assist in this transformation. All right, so let's talk about, we'll start off with this, I guess, because there's huge things coming. We know that Visa, a new Visa card with Coinbase has started, and it actually seems free to use. You don't have to pay for it. Like on Uphold, you can get a debit card and spend your cryptocurrency. Now, there are many fees associated with this, but you guys can go to coinbase.com and check it out. Links are in the video description if you want, and I believe you can get on the waiting list. I got on the waiting list this morning. I was a little late to the party, but yeah, I would be absolutely excited to see this type of functionality increase as well. All right. Also, so since we talked about Visa, I actually want to mention MasterCard as well. We know they are also one of the largest patent holders in the space for central bank digital currencies, interestingly enough. And we also know their partnerships with R3. And when I talk about R3, I'm not just saying XRP. I'm saying because they are a huge behemoth in the space focused on trade finance, capital markets, and DLT. All right. Let's keep going. So I wanted to kick this off and give a shout out to Matthew Liny for sharing this. So we know the ISO 222 or 20022 holds the key to fintech innovation and competition in the years to come. Not only is XRP, the digital asset, ISO compliant, but Ripple is the only fintech member of the ISO governing board. Again, that regulatory body. So this is very telling, and I thought this article is really, really interesting. It actually kind of comes out in a way that could be definitely seen as FUD towards cryptocurrency and a threat towards certain cryptocurrencies. But then at the bottom here it says, however, one crypto that could benefit is XRP, the currency used on the blockchain-based payment system, Ripple, and of course the XRP ledger. Now, this is one crypto that will be compliant with the ISO 222 standard, allowing it to operate alongside central bank digital currencies within centralized payment systems. I think that is, that little paragraph right there is very, very telling. You guys know how this ends up. CBDCs still need a bridge. Yes, they can make the domestic side of settlement a bit faster, and we need everything to be improved. And if you remember what David Schwartz said, we can't have, XRP being the bridge asset if the domestic, if domestic still takes, hours or days. That would, if anything, make the domestic look a little silly. So we have to update domestic, we have to update international, all of the clearing and settlements at the same time so that all these technologies actually complement one another, rather than XRP making the domestic and, the tier one banks look terrible and pointing out how ineffective or inefficient their infrastructure is. So it's really, really interesting. It's a sensitive topic. And yes, to replace the infrastructure of the payment rails of traditional finance that are 40 years old, built pre-internet, pre-digital era, does not happen overnight. So a few things I want to talk about. You guys get the gist with ISO. We've talked about it. We talked about Target 2. We've talked about tips and, the instant payments and everything. Obviously, South Africa, one of the BRICS nations, talking about all of this and CBDC's role in this. And we also know with even China, with their CBDC being rolled out, huge things are on the way. Now, it actually talks a little bit about a threat and saying that basically this could take over, kind of threaten Bitcoin like cryptocurrencies. Now, I believe that Bitcoin may be just a store value in the future, and I wish it well, and I'm grateful for the market. I like Ethereum as well. I think they're building some great things despite, getting into, migrating towards proof of stake. You can't argue what's happening in terms of decentralized exchanges, in terms of DeFi with the Ethereum ecosystem, in terms of, just huge investments behind it. I think it's here to stay, and I'm not going to speculate on price. I'm just saying that XRP we haven't even seen the upside yet. And yes, I do believe there will be tremendous upside in the future. The foundation is being built. It is going to be a freaking skyscraper. Not financial advice. You guys do your own research and decide for yourselves. All right, so right here, notice this with all the standardizing communication instructions, ISO. Again, it's good to get all the messaging to be standard, just like with what they did with logistics and the shipping freight. But we know that XRP is not threatened by this. We're talking about settlements, not just, clearing, reconciliation, messaging, all of this. So it may also short circuit the use of decentralized systems presented by Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. All right. So something to consider. So we already talked about that. And just notice, XRP, Ripple alongside and in this actual body. So could this have been the plan all along? You guys decide for yourselves, but yeah, there are sure a lot of coincidences. All right, next, we're going to speed through this. So XRP, you amaze me. Thank you for sharing this. So we know former global head of government and regulatory affairs at Ripple has finally left, and now her name is Michelle Bond. She has been appointed the CEO at Atom. This is the Association for Digital Asset Markets. Now, some people see this as a bad thing. I see this to be pretty good. We know Michelle Bond in the past. If you guys are familiar with her, I'll pull up her LinkedIn. So now she's named the CEO at Atom, Association for Digital Asset Markets. And notice that Ripple is actually not a member on their website. But what do we see? We see a few people that have direct connections with Ripple. We can't really, argue that. And we've talked about a variety of these groups like Genesis, Galaxy Digital, Paxos, Symbionts in the past. But let's see. So we got BitGo. We've talked about them recently. We know they build enterprise wallets. They worked on multi-sig for XRP specifically. I'm just going to read this paragraph right here. We are excited to be working with Ripple to provide enterprise tools and treasury management capabilities to institutions working with XRP, CEO of BitGo. The Ripple team understands crypto and traditional finance extremely well, and that is something that many people don't get. They are not just trying to disrupt the world and do DeFi and build all these new systems. They're building the technology to bridge the traditional markets to the modern. When all is said and done, I know a lot of people in crypto or, Bitcoin maximalists, they hate Ripple and everything it stands for because they're working with banks and regulators instead of being, having that anarchist approach and being completely peer-to-peer. But funny enough, guys, I think after this revolution is done, people are going to be realizing Ripple's contributions and, all the funding that went towards all of this, right? So they are well positioned to disrupt global settlement via blockchain, and we are happy to play our part. BitGo is a behemoth. I think you guys saw the 50 million XRP being moved recently with them. And also, remember, BitGo has actually been in talks now with PayPal. So would PayPal actually purchase them? What is really happening behind the scenes? Now, we also see Anchorage. We know they're another digital asset platform that happens to have XRP listed. You can see them. They were founded in 2017. I believe I have it pulled up. Yep. So we have XRP, XLM, typical crypto assets here, Ethereum, and plenty of, these other guys. We got Link, Atom, Bitcoin, of course, some wrapped assets, Lend, some DeFi players, of course, MakerDAO, all these guys, okay? Or, DAI, I should say. All right. Now, whenever I think of Michelle Bond, I actually think of Monica Long as well, because if you guys remember that video clip of them at Ripple saying that, yeah, we're actively engaging 40 to 50 central banks and governments. And I'm sure you guys remember Sagar Sarabhai of Ripple saying the same thing. And Monica Long, was recently appointed the general manager, the GM of Ripple X, formerly Spring. Remember this initiative? Notice people say it has nothing to do with XRP. Why is the XRP ledger for settlement at the very bottom of this? So very exciting, building SDKs, gaming, developing, working on web monetization for all of the, future. This is not just Ripple. This is outside of it to build demand for the XRP ledger. And you guys understand, you need XRP. One way or another. All right. Next, just wanted to touch on this. So Matthew Liny sharing this with R3. It has nothing to do with XRP per se. Just wanted to share. Root Ant partners with R3 to launch core to blockchain multi-tier finance platform. Notice this is all about, Singapore will be launched in the rest of the region, Southeast Asia, Japan, and China by 2021. Now, just a few things I wanted to touch on really is we can see SAP's involvement. We know that they've helped, groups as well test and actually send XRP between groups like ATB and Respank in the past. We have Tencent, which is just another behemoth. We can see SBI Group's involvement. And yes, we know there's a lot of speculation, actually. We'll probably talk about it in the future video with SBI's Money Tap and Ripple investing into them. And we know R3's, connections as well. And we do know that Mr. Katao of SBI would like R3 and Ripple to work together, and I absolutely would too. We'll see if it ever happens. Basically, how I do and plan my investments is, I expect the worst and plan for that, but hope for the best, all right? So we'll keep going here. And no coincidence, of course, in Singapore, very, very friendly jurisdiction. All right, so right here, I'm sure many of you have seen this, pretty cool. So Ethereum's powering twice as many transactions as Bitcoin, approaching $1 trillion settled in 2020. Now, when I see something like this, I know that a lot of the wash trading exists. I understand that a lot of the volume is based in Tether, which is my least favorite stablecoin there is. Maybe some of you love it. Just a personal choice. I would choose USDC over Tether any day of the week, just because of regulations in the United States. But when you see this, $1 trillion settled, even if it is primarily, DeFi, wash trading, Tether, this is very telling of where this future is going. We are going towards distributed landscapes. There's no doubt about it. So those of us that are here paying attention to crypto assets and understanding the value of these tokens, the finite supply of these tokens, and the tokenomics provided, they actually have sound tokenomics, and you need the tokens. And as demand increases, you understand what happens to price. Come on, guys, it is extremely telling. Now, this is just on the Daily Hodl, but this is actually based off of an article, and we'll kind of go over this briefly, by an additional researcher. He has a thread right here. I'm going. So Ryan Watkins of Masari, I forgot how to pronounce it, but just going over everything. He has all the data in front of us. Pretty interesting to share, and I just want to touch on this. So according to Watkins' chart, the transaction volume being processed on the Ethereum network daily is fast approaching $7 billion. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is processing less than $3 billion per day, which is lower than its previous high of about $4 billion in July. All right, right here, the surge in Ethereum's volume can be attributed to, of course, tons of ERC20 stablecoins such as Tether, and this recent boom in DeFi, which I absolutely agree. Just like we had the ICO craze in 2017, which I assume many of you remember, same thing happened with DeFi. And to be honest, I didn't see DeFi, coming like that with this boom and, Uniswap and all of this. I didn't see it coming one bit. And hindsight is 2020. And for those of you that did see this coming, I'm sure you made a bunch of money doing so. So good for you. Congrats. Hopefully I catch the next craze a little, better. All right. So talking about all of this, Uniswap on-chain liquidity is huge. Again, having to do with DeFi and, decentralized exchanges. Notice DEXs, decentralized exchanges, comprise of essentially almost 14% of total volume from all exchanges, both centralized and decentralized. Absolutely crazy. So go over here, you can see Bitcoin versus Tether transaction volume. Most of the volume is ERC20 Tether, and that is very telling of where we're at today. Also, wanted to share this. The second leading reason for Ethereum's boom is this on-chain liquidity. We have Uniswap and Curve did more than $20 billion combined for volume in September alone. Absolutely crazy. So we're going to see, guys, Ethereum could be the first public blockchain to process 1 trillion transactions, I believe, or $1 trillion in transactions in a single year. But my thoughts. I think XRP is a lot more likely to be the first open source type of ledger to process even 10 trillion in a year. And yeah, that might be crazy, but I absolutely see it happening in due time, provided that liquidity grows. All right. Just the website where he shared it, so masari.io. Now right here, I wanted to share this. So in a survey of institutional crypto trading service providers, the Block research team has actually found that the majority of them, approximately 61%, are based in the United States. Funny enough, the other popular regions are some that, of course, we imagine Ripple HQ in, whether it's the UK, we have Hong Kong, we have Switzerland, Singapore, Belgium, Gibraltar, Malta, and of course they have very, very friendly jurisdictions, or at least a bit more clarity, I should say. And of course, there's tons of speculation about even Japan as well. But, time will tell. I don't want to over speculate. And you guys got to be careful with all these clickbaity articles. Make sure that they're actually sourced and you can figure it out. Sometimes you're okay if you want to just kind of skim the headlines and get the gist. But for any factual data, you really have to double check everything. All right. All right, now I wanted to touch on this. So Ripple Panda XRP, this gentleman is, I believe, from Singapore. He is now utilizing DBS, and of course they will be having XRP trading pairs, which is insane, one of the biggest banks in Singapore. And he was also at Ripple's Swell event when it was in Singapore. So nice short trip. So this client is called the Remitty. We can see that Ripple is a partner alongside IBM, UAF, etc. No surprise. And then right on their website, you can see that they seem like the perfect type of participant in this to utilize this and help their customers. We can see, sin cargos ocultos, so without hidden fees, convenient rates, etc. You guys can watch this video and check it out for yourselves. And if you want to go at the very bottom, you can confirm that they are in fact a partner of Ripple. So right here. So it should be no surprise. Now we want them to be utilizing ODL. My guess is that they're at least utilizing Xcurrent today, which is obviously not utilizing XRP yet, but you understand Ripple's plan and how they roll out for customers. All right, and I believe that is it for the most part. And also, I am really hoping with these Atom members that, of course, Michelle Bond would help as CEO, and I'd assume she will, to get Ripple to be named a member in the future. So do not be surprised to see that. I know many will construe everything as FUD, some will construe everything as hype. But at the end of the day, we just have to observe how this happens. I see no reason why this is, a bad thing for Ripple. There's high turnover rates in fintech companies, specifically in DLT, so I would not be surprised one bit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like this video, and I will see you in the next one.